I know a mother who has 3 children. Their ages are 9, 8, and 6. She's been practicing real love with them for years. And I'm going to share with you what she wrote to me recently. It's my hope that you can glimpse what is possible. You won't achieve this immediately, but you can glimpse what is possible with consistent loving and teaching. So Mom wrote me that one Saturday, she just didn't feel good. She had no energy. She laid down on the couch and assumed the comatose position. If I could get the people in yoga to adopt that as one of their positions, that would be my start in yoga. She just lay there doing nothing. But there was the usual Saturday housework that needed to be done. So what does she do? She said she laid on the couch, didn't move, and simply directed the kids to do all the work she would normally have done. She directed them like you would direct an orchestra. The orchestra conductor doesn't play a single instrument. He's directing or conducting everybody else. Entirely different activity than from controlling them or micromanaging them or yelling at them or forcing them. No, just directions. Love and teach. She wrote, quote, "Today, the kids vacuumed, swept, washed and dried the floors, cleaned the toilets and sinks and walls." She's pretty clean. I don't think I've cleaned a wall in my life. "And emptied the garbage in every room. While they did it, they were smiling." Yeah, not kidding. Remember, she's been practicing this for a while. They were smiling, occasionally singing, and I would hear in the next room expressions like this. "I'm glad we're working." This is a kid, 9, 8, or 6. She didn't specify which one. "It feels good to work, doesn't it? This is fun." Now, I happen to know that was the 8-year-old. "This is going by so fast." That's what she heard in the next room. She continues. "Then we did some cheers together, like winning at life. We can do hard things. Work makes us happy and strong." Now, to people who've never done this, some of these things might sound silly. They bind people together. Watch somebody who's leading a group of people who are doing jazzercise, yoga, spinning classes, and they're saying things just like this. Some of them sound a little kitschy. It's enthusiastic bonding. That's what it is. It's different from encouraging. So they're all kind of cheering each other on. This is a riot. It could seem like a fairy tale, a comedy sketch almost. It would be. And if your kids did this in your house, you'd think they were playing a joke on you. But it really happened. And if this mother can do it, so can you. It didn't happen overnight. Mom simply loved and taught over and over and over again. And she was consistent. There is no single dramatic thing you will ever do that's going to change the direction of your children's lives other than kill them in their sleep. One step at a time. There was zero tolerance for a long time for anger, whining, teasing, lying, or withdrawal, the things that we've talked about having a zero tolerance for in the parenting training. And while there's zero tolerance for the obstacles, she teaches them on the positive side. That's eliminating the negative. Zero tolerance. She taught them responsibility and to be loving toward each other. As they did the cleaning, they were cooperating. They were loving. This isn't just doing chores. Every act together as a family can become a loving act. By way of contrast with the story I just told, the true story, another mother told me about her son, Chris, 18 years old, who simply refused to do anything that remotely resembled responsibility. Nothing. So, no studying, didn't finish high school, laid on the couch all day playing video games, And as she learned the principles in the ridiculously effective parenting training, she said to me, "Oh, how I wish I had known all this when Chris was younger. I didn't see that he was manipulating me into standing by while he made excuses endlessly and ended up having to do nothing." End quote. Yeah, he fooled her because she didn't know any better. She said that she could remember when he was 9 years old, the age, interestingly, of one of the children of the other mother I talked about. He came to her innocently confessing to how he had been gaming her all those years, even back then. Imagine a 9-year-olds are relatively innocent, and he just innocently says to his mother, "You realize that all these years I've just been playing you so that I could do what I wanted to do." He accurately described what he did, but it didn't sink in with her, and she didn't know what to do differently. Chris read a lot of Calvin and Hobbes. I don't think they are still being written, but it's a popular series of comic strips and books for years. In it is a tiger and a little kid. I'm pretty sure Calvin's the kid and Hobbes is the tiger. And this second mother's son told his mother that in one strip, Calvin, the young boy, and the primary character said, quote, "The secret of chores is to do them as badly as possible, so you'll never be asked to do them again." End quote. And then Chris, her son, when he was 9, announced, "That's what I do. I just do a job just as poorly as possible, and then you jump in and you finish it, and I never get asked to do it again. And it works." End quote. That's what the 9-year-old told his mother. Until he read the comic strip, he couldn't put into words what he'd been doing. It's that unconscious. Kids don't intentionally manipulate you. They just find things that work. Just like water always finds the path of least resistance. Always. Usually follows gravity. If there's a crack in a pipe, it goes out the crack. It doesn't do that on purpose. And Mom didn't realize the game that was being played by her son on her. So he would spill something on the floor and walk off. Well, the game goes to him. No responsibility. He doesn't have to do anything. Or she would discover a mess and tell him to clean it up. And then he would either, 1, wait till she left the room and then just go back to his room, do nothing. Or 2nd, he'd make a half-hearted attempt with the cloth, moving the mess around, a little way. And then she'd see the mess and dread the confrontation with Chris, which would go on for a long time and for the 1,000th time about cleaning up after himself. And she would just go, "Oh," and every parent's done this, every parent. "I don't want to have this confrontation. I'm just going to finish cleaning it up myself." And it takes actually less time, but that's not the point. Time isn't the point. Loving and teaching is. And of course, he would let her do all this, which is yet another way to be irresponsible. If you didn't count them, I named 4 ways that he practiced being irresponsible. He got very good at it. Can you see the game he's playing? Each episode where he was irresponsible, each single episode could be considered minor or look innocent, not worth fussing about. But the end result was a 19-year-old boy without a high school diploma. This is what happens when you don't require that a child clean up a mess they made to your satisfaction. That's what happens. "Oh, but he's only 4. Yeah, and then he'll be 5. And then 6, and then he'll be 18, and then 19, and he doesn't have a high school diploma, no career skills, no social skills, except those required to get people to, leave him alone and never make him do anything." And eventually, she had to throw him out of the house because it was the only way that the consequences of his choices could become obvious to him. When he was sleeping under a bridge and had nothing to eat, it was like, oh, this is where this leads. And he's presently sleeping in a homeless shelter, which to some parents would sound cruel. It's not. Every other attempt to teach this child responsibility had failed. She tried all of the easy ways. If you're teaching directly, if there's a scale of directness, firmness, 0 to 10, she tried 0, didn't work, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She tried every level, and finally, he was willing to live with 10. He was willing to sleep in a homeless shelter, under a bridge, wherever. They'd all failed, and homeless was the last motivation. So mom had the guts to make that happen. Homeless. Now, back to the first mother. With the kids who are happy and strong as a result of being taught to work and to enjoy it. Mom loved and taught those kids for years with utter consistency. Only after all that preparation, in all caps, only after all that preparation could the nearly inconceivable experience that I just described become possible. It was a result of 1,000 steps before it. It's a kind of amazing story. Singing while they work and joking, but it didn't come out of the blue. They built up to that. And it's possible. Mom proved it's possible. It's possible for you. But if you don't do the 1,000 steps, and if you do 1,000 steps and you do them inconsistently, you get some version of a kid sleeping under a bridge. Or a kid who gets divorced over and over again and leaves children in every corner, or a drug addict, or blah, blah, blah. We've talked about the consequences in the parenting training. This is called a miracle, as opposed to what most people want, which is magic. Magic is astonishing, unimaginable results without obvious preparation or work, like bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, waving a wand. Disney. Miracles are still astonishing, unimaginable results that happen after a lot of preparation. Because you can do all that preparation and still bringing it all together is, well, miraculous. Miracles are much more than the sum of their parts. And boy, we really got to get that. Because when you teach a child to clean up a mess on the floor and they're kicking and screaming, that doesn't look miraculous. But that's a step that leads to one. Some might even say that the final result being more than the sum of the parts involves the hand of God. That part's up to you. Still a miracle. But they're a treat to see and to experience. And you can have them. Ask the mother and the children of the happy family I described about how they got there. They know because they did it. So can you.